Welcome to the Sisters in Service podcast, the space where stories from active duty veterans, military spouses, and even military brats finally get the spotlight they deserve. I'm your host, Kat Corchado, Air Force veteran, movement specialist, and the heart behind this podcast. I started Sisters in Service because too many stories from our community were going untold. Stories of resilience, transition, identity, and the strength it takes to serve and to thrive beyond the uniform. This podcast is about connection, empowerment, and reminding each of us that our service didn't end when our military chapter closed. It simply evolved. Sisters in Service is proudly sponsored by Fit for Life Alliance, a space where people are committed to feeling better in their bodies every single day, and by My Sexy Business, where you can own a business that doesn't own you. So grab your coffee, your journal, or your walking shoes, because every episode is an invitation to listen, learn, and lean into the powerful stories that remind us service is a sisterhood that never fades. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Why Not Wellness. I'm your host, Kat Corchado. You know, there are a lot of people that wear these fitness trackers. Have you ever wondered, are they really accurate? How are you really supposed to use them? So a lot of people wear these, the fitness trackers, the Apple Watch, the Fitbit, the Garmin, the Oura, blah, 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 right? But can you really trust those numbers? And maybe a more important question is, how should you actually be using your tracker in real life? So in this episode, I'm going to break it down for you why fitness trackers are a guide and not an exact measurement, what they usually get right and where they're often off, how to use the data to support your goals without getting obsessed or discouraged. And I can say I've become obsessed, especially sleep. I'm always looking at my sleep score, my sleep number. So hopefully by the end, you'll know how to treat the numbers on your wrist so they help you to stay healthy instead of stressing you out. Yes, please. So let's talk about what your fitness tracker is really doing. Your fitness tracker is not only a tiny hospital on your wrist, it's a consumer device using sensors, algorithms to guesstimate is the word I like to use, things like your steps, your heart rate, calories burned, sleep quality, sleep stages, recovery, or readiness scores. Never really knew what the readiness thing was, but let's figure that out, right? Some of these are pretty good. Some are more like educated guesses. So for most people, steps are reasonably accurate over a whole day, but it can miss certain movements or count random arm swings. How about your heart rate? It's usually solid at rest and during light activities, but it can be less accurate during high intensity exercise or if the watch is loose. Now, I will say this, I do high intensity interval training for myself. And even though I'm doing 11 minutes, I'm like, what, that's it? I still look at my watch and I'm like, shouldn't it be a bigger number than that? I'm just saying. Calories burned, again, rough guesstimates, not exact math, and sleep is best at telling when you're asleep versus awake. The different stages of sleep are more like estimates based on movement and heart rate. So your tracker isn't really lying to you, but it's also not perfect. It's best to think of it as giving you a general picture, not a precise report. So here's the real problem: treating estimates like the exact truth. The real issue happens when we treat every number as 100% accurate. You might hear or think things like, my watch says I burned 750 calories, so I can definitely eat 750 more. My sleep score is low, so today is ruined. I only hit 9,800 steps, so the day doesn't really count. Now I'm counting all of it. This is where people get discouraged or start to obsess. Here's the truth. The 750 calorie estimate could easily be off by a couple hundred calories either way, less or more. Think about that. Sleep scores are based on movement and heart rate, not a brain scan. Step counts can be off by hundreds or even more depending on how you move. So when we treat these estimates like hard facts, we can most probably overeat because we feel we've earned it, feel guilty because we miss an arbitrary target, such as I want to get to 10,000 steps. I only got 9,800, but what if you really got 10,000? Remember, this is a guesstimate. And it actually can ignore how our body feels. So remember, your tracker gives you a rough map, but is not the territory. It's a guide, not a judge. So what fitness trackers are great at for everyday people, used the right way, fitness trackers can be incredibly helpful for regular people with busy lives. Here's what they're really good at, showing trends over time. Is your average step count going up, down, or staying the same? Are you usually more active on weekdays or weekends? Are you generally sleeping more or less than you were a month ago? Good to know. It also is about making you more aware of your habits. So it gives you this general, so you can kind of say, ooh, maybe I need to focus in on this. So move or stand reminders can remind you to stand or to move, and it can also help you break up long periods of sitting. I did an episode about does sitting too long make you stupid? Daily step goals can nudge you to park further away, take the stairs, or do an evening walk, especially after dinner. Sleep tracking can make you more conscious of late night scrolling or caffeine. Creating a little motivation and accountability. They're also good at that. Closing rings or keeping a streak going can be a fun form of meditation. It's a way to keep you motivated. I did really good yesterday. Can I do that again today? Sharing activity with friends or family can help you stay consistent. I don't know about that. Because if they're not wearing a fitness tracker, they're probably wondering why you're wearing one. And they don't really care. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. But if they're not heavily invested, keep it to yourself. Make it a fun game with you. So think of your tracker as a habit and awareness tool, not as a medical authority or a strict scorecard. So how do you use your tracker as a guide and not a boss? No one needs another boss. So let's talk about how to actually use your tracker in a healthy way. Look at weeks and months and not just single days. Again, the trend. Instead of asking, did I have a perfect day? Ask, what does my last week or month look like? One day isn't going to dictate whether you're doing bad or good. We all have those days. We have the best of intentions, and then something happens. But if it's 1 or 2 days, you'll get back right on track. On average, am I moving more than I used to? Again, the trend. Is my sleep generally trending in a better direction? So if you keep seeing your sleep kind of going up, it might level off and keep going up, you're okay. Try to set flexible targets instead of rigid rules. Give yourself ranges, not strict lines. What's your step range? I want to aim for 7,000 to 10,000 steps most days, instead of saying it's got to be 10,000 steps or I failed. What about your bedtime window? I'm usually in bed between 10 and 11 instead of exactly 10:15 or the day is ruined. I start my wind down at 9 o'clock because I want to be in bed by 9:30 or 10 o'clock, especially when I have a 6 or 6:30 a.m. client. So give yourself that range. And what you're going to find is that when you start doing that over and over again, your body understands, ooh, we're getting ready to go to sleep. And you might find that you're sleeping better. What about workout frequency? I want 3 to 4 workouts this week instead of chasing a specific calorie burn every session. What I do is I have a floating day. I have allowed myself one day where maybe I'm supposed to work out and it's just not happening. So maybe I'll take that day off, but I have another day that I can work out. You still have direction, but you've got some space for real life. Isn't that what we're doing here? So always pair the data with how you feel. Every time you check your numbers, quietly ask yourself, how do I actually feel today? Do I feel reasonably rested? Even if my sleep score is low. That's happened to me. My Apple Watch will say, oh, low sleep score, but I feel okay. Or sometimes I feel like I've slept a lot and my sleep score is low. So I'm like, what is that about? But I don't take it too seriously. Do I feel exhausted even if my readiness score is high? If your body and your tracker disagree, your body always wins. Think of it as the house. The house always wins. The body always wins. The device is guessing, your body is experiencing. So while you're working out, stop treating calorie burn as precise. It can't be precise for everybody. Remember those trackers? They weren't trackers, but the little body fat things that you would hold like this. You'd hold them out. Quick story. So I did it. It said my body fat was something. I said, that's a lie. So you know what I did? I decreased my age. So I think I was 50 something. And I decreased my age to like 45. And you know what it said? My body fat was lower. So I'm just putting that out there because body fat's very individual. And using, again, it's a guide. The guide sucked, but it's a guide. So use calorie estimates for general awareness, not exact decision making. Notice that walking, lifting weights, and high intensity workouts burn energy differently. But avoid playing the game of, I burn 400 calories, so I'll eat exactly 400 calories more. No, we don't want to do that. Focus more on consistent movement, balanced eating, and how your clothes fit on your body, how it feels over time. You'll get better results by staying consistent than by trying to outmath your tracker. At the same time, I want you to check your mindset around this device. How do you feel about it? Ask yourself, does this tracker help me feel more informed and motivated or more anxious and guilty? Sometimes when you have something on, like I have an Oura ring and I have an Apple Watch. And my Apple Watch will say time to get up or time to stand up. And I'm like, I don't feel like standing up. So big fat no. But an Oura ring just kind of quietly says, hey, you want to stretch your legs a little bit? I'm like, I sure do. Thank you, Oura ring. So do you beat yourself up when you don't hit a goal? Are you moving because you enjoy being active or just to satisfy a number on your app? If it starts feeling like the tracker is in charge of you, it might be time to turn off a few notifications. Ignore metrics that stress you out and take the watch off or the Oura ring or whatever it is you're using for a day or a weekend and see how you feel. You are not less healthy just because you weren't tracked. So here's a simple 3-step framework I want you to think about. Notice. Use it to notice your patterns, how much you actually move, how often you stand up, and how much you tend to sleep. Adjust. Make small, realistic changes based on the trends you see and on a one bad or one good day. And last but not least, just let go. Let go of the numbers that don't help you and don't line up with how you feel. The goal is a healthier life, not a perfect score. Your body is the main source of truth. Your tracker is just a tool to help you pay attention. So let's wrap this up. Fitness trackers are not perfectly accurate measuring devices, and they're not meant to be. They're best used as guides. So let them show you your general patterns. Let them remind you to move. Let them help you build better habits over time. But don't let them decide your worth based on a score. Dictate every bite you eat overrule how you feel in your own body. So if this episode helped you feel a little more relaxed about your fitness tracker, share it with a friend or a family member who checks their numbers a little too often. So with that, I'm going to sign off. This is Kat Corchada, your movement specialist. And as always, please stay safe, take care of each other until next time. And always, always remember, it's never too late to start your impossible.